to see everybody. I'll kind of wait another minute here, just make sure we let everybody get on. All right, so I'll just get going here, make sure we finish up in time for everybody to head over to the college recruiting meeting at 7:30. So we'll stop right at 7:30. If I'll leave some time at the end for some questions and feedback or any thoughts you might want to share. But if we don't get to you, or if you're not comfortable sharing in the public setting, feel free to just send me an email with anything you might want to share, any questions you might have, and I can get back to you guys. So this meeting, we're going to kind of go over some infrastructure stuff that the club's been doing this year and what we're doing moving forward for next year. We'll kind of go over this season a little bit and what they did in the past season as well, and then kind of look at what this age group may be looking at for next year, and what we're planning on doing moving forward. So for infrastructure things from the club perspective, we this year we changed the structure a little bit and added some age group coordinators, which are sort of these direct technical directors for the different age groups. Myself, the boys age group coordinator for 11v11 teams. We had Jason Hauer for the 9v9 group, and then Sam Tweeten for the girls 11v11 side. And these coordinators were there to just try and add a little bit more support for coaches, logistically, but also on the field stuff. And a lot of clubs, coaches get their teams at tryouts, and then they kind of are just on their own little island, and they don't get a lot of support, or they don't get a lot of interaction with other coaches or even the leadership staff. And so this was our attempt to try and provide a little bit more of that support for coaches. I know from my personal experience, it went pretty good this year, and I saw a lot of improvements. I'll kind of go over that just club wide here in a minute, but just being there to help coaches make sure their rosters are all set after tryouts, make sure registrations are going good, make sure they're signed up for the tournament on time, and have all the kind of logistical things going on, and meeting deadlines and that sort of stuff. But then also being there to be there on the field to provide information and just talk with coaches and make sure that we're helping them with any issues that they might have, and talking to them about how the year's going, and being there at trainings to help support and talk about game model stuff, and just be there to be an assistant sometimes. And so I think we really saw some good improvements of that this year, being our first year doing that. For next year, we're continuing with that same model. We've changed the language a little bit, to kind of match more what the language clubs are using around with director roles and things. So I'll be the boys technical director, and then we've hired Victor Martinez as on the girls side for the girls director, and the 9v9 teams as well. We'll have Blake kind of renaming him as the director of coaching to kind of oversee all of that and oversee everything, and making sure we're all kind of rowing in the same directions, and both boys and girls programs are doing what they need to do and getting where we want to go. And then we have Bryce Burton, our director of operations, who's handling a lot of the logistical stuff, doing a lot of the website stuff, and just getting a lot of that information going, kind of behind the scenes type of thing. And he's just been done a fantastic job this last 2 years, getting that stuff going. And that's kind of the next thing I wanted to talk about with the infrastructure improvements. our website updates and increase kind of user access to all the variety of information that we have for parents and coaches on our website. Has really showed a lot of improvement this year. The resources tab for the parents on our website, if you haven't gone to that or checked that out, it'd be a great thing to look at. It has a ton of information, our yearly calendar that we're putting out there, that Bryce and all the leadership have been working on. That way, 6 months down the road, when we're stopping, when we're taking breaks, when league starts, when cups start, all that information's on our yearly calendar. So you can kind of plan ahead and just have a good idea of what the overall structure of the year is going to look like, for you next year. And once again, that's on our website, on that parent coaches tab. And a lot of the information, or a lot of the questions I get from coaches and parents, 75% of it is on that website, on that resources tab. So be a great thing to check out if you haven't already. It's got a lot of great information. It's usually where I go first when I have questions about things, because most of the time the information's right there and I can find it and check it out. More improved gear checkout and inventory system, most of it accessible on our website as well. Something we added this year, which has been really good. All the forms and documents that we've kind of streamlined onto our website, making it a little bit, like I said, user friendly, a little bit easier for registrations, scholarships, any of the other kind of various forms and documents that you need to get going. So that's been really great to see. And in this kind of day and age, a lot of that stuff is going on the websites, and a lot of the information's there, and keeping it streamlined, keeping it organized, and making it easy for parents to use is really important. And it's come a long way here in the last 4 or 5 years, at least, that I've seen. And so this year has been great to see that improvement. We are switching to Adidas for equipment, so that should bring an improved uniform ordering experience. Adidas has a good reputation for that. And so getting that going, I'm really looking forward to that relationship with them. We've already ordered some coaches gear and things, and new equipment, new balls and such. So that stuff should be on the way. And like I said, I'm excited to get that relationship going with Adidas. Talked about our leadership already. Myself, Victor, Blake, and Bryce will kind of be the main leadership roles here. Overall club improvement stuff, it was just really great to see the on the field improvements that we had this year, just as a club as a whole. I think the previous year our goal differential as a club was -100 or around that number. And this year we've completely flipped that on its head, and we're at over +100 in goal differential from all our teams. I haven't done the final tally yet because we still have a lot of our teams doing spring league and finishing up. And so I'll do that at the end, but it's already fantastic, and I'm excited to see that final number. But to see that improvement it's a great indicator of at least a lot of the on the field stuff is going really good this year. And so that's been great to see, that, looking at our league standings and teams that are doing better this year, and just the outcomes in cups and tournaments and things have been really promising and really good to see. So that's kind of the infrastructure stuff from the club that I want to share. Once again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to just speak up and stop me. I'm going to kind of go over our season here, and I'm going to try and leave a few, at least 10 minutes at the end, 15 minutes or so to open it up to parents to share any thoughts or feelings or anything that you guys think you might want to address. But we'll kind of go over this season and also kind of what next year looks like. So let's see, let's pull that up. We've got the 09 Navies and the winner Premier Gold this year, which is just fantastic to see, one of our few teams that are in Premier Gold. Finished 3-7 with 9 goals for and 17 against. So not the best record, but I know a lot of competitive games, and just every game they're in is competitive and they're playing good. So not the results we're looking for, but you look at their state cup performance this weekend, and it shows that we're a really competitive team. So that's really good. In the spring last year, in the 2023 Premier Gold, finished 4-4, 15 goals for and 12 against. So 4-4, but with a positive goal differential. That's really good to see. The 09 Whites, we were kind of this one's a little different, not as straightforward, just because of the age that we're in with 8th grade freshman year split. But for the 2024 winter division, we were Division 3, finished 2-7-1 with 20 goals for and 32 against. And then in the fall in the Central League, we were 7-0-3, took second place, which is great. 37 goals for and 12 against. But once again, it was a little skewed just because of the situation we were in with lack of numbers. We'll talk about that in a second, but I do want to start out with, I really want to thank a lot of the Navy players for stepping up and playing in a lot of the games this fall and winter to try and help that team. I got a lot of questions of, do we want to form a team with, we don't even meet the minimum roster requirements. We had to, sign a thing with OYSA that says, yes, we understand we don't have a full roster, and we'll take responsibility for any missed games or forfeits that we have to do. But it was really great to see a lot of the other club members around this age group, whether it was 2010s coming up to play with the 09 Whites, or like I said, some of the Navy players coming in and stepping in and helping, and getting to see that is just great. And it's a great sort of club thing, not just a team on its own, but kids supporting other kids within the club, or families supporting other families. That was really great to see. So I want to thank you guys that did that and were a part of that. That was really awesome. So just kind of overall sense with this group, for next year, with the sort of lack of numbers on that white team, tryouts, you never know, we may get a lot more, we may get a lot less, you never know. And so making 2 teams is definitely a possibility. It may end up being a combination team with an 08 as well. I know the 08 white team had struggled with numbers as well. So it may end up being, instead of 4 teams between the 2009 and 2008s, maybe we make 3. An 09 Navy and a 08 Navy, and then a combined 08 white that's combined with 08s and 9s. That's a possibility, but it's something we'd have to see about just with our numbers when we come to tryouts and what we're doing there. But like I said, by signing up that 08 or the 09 white team without the full complement of rosters, or even just the league minimum number, I think it was a great success. Just not having to forfeit any games or do any of that, because that was one of the things I was really worried about going into it. So I think that was a great success, just making sure we had a place for these players to play. So before I open it up, I also just kind of wanted to address sort of the elephant in the room, because we've been hearing a lot of chatter and rumors and things from families with this group, and just sort of both sides of it. We've heard families saying, if we don't get a new coach, we're not coming back. But then we've also heard the other side of, if we do change coach, we're leaving and not coming back. So we understand that that's out there, and there's a lot of maybe strong feelings about what we do either way. And so just wanted to put that out there in case anybody wanted to speak on it. If you're not comfortable sharing in the public setting, once again, please send me an email so I can gather that data and take your thoughts and information and make sure it's documented and make sure I can share it with leadership and make sure we add it to our considerations when we're doing these considerations for next year. Before I open it up to parents, just kind of keep going on that for next year. So for the coaching slate next year, we're doing all these age group meetings, and we're trying to gather as much feedback from the parents as possible. So then after that, we can kind of announce our coaching assignments and get that going. We didn't want to announce those too early. I know parents like to know, kids like to know, but we don't want to make a statement or put someone somewhere and then we do these meetings and find out that there's a lot of unhappy parents or there's things we weren't expecting or we didn't know that were out there. So we wanted to use these and the survey we send out here after we finish all these meetings, to use that to just get as much information from parents as possible and make sure that your feedback's being heard and we're gathering it and we can put that into considerations when we're considering our coaching slate for next year. So once we conclude with all these meetings, we'll be able to have a better idea of who we want in certain places and best fits for people and making sure that it's a good fit for the parent group and a good fit for the coach as well. For tournaments and things for these high school groups now, a little different from last year. So for the high school groups, we're planning on doing Clash at the Border at the end of June. We'll start right after tryouts in May and go right through that to do that tournament and then kind of release them to their high school teams because most high school teams are starting their summer training in July or even June. But there's another option we're looking at if especially the Navy teams, especially this 09 Navy team who's, competing at a really high level and against the best teams in the state for the last couple of years. There's a Crossfire tournament up in Seattle in mid-July. That could be an option instead of Clash at the Border. It's a great tournament, local Portland. It's not the highest of competition. It's a good tournament, but if we're looking to expand that travel experience, which I would recommend for this 09 Navy team, that Crossfire tournament up in Seattle would be a good one. It's a great tournament. They have over 600 teams that come from all over the country, and that would be a great experience. And then in the winter, we do our Alliance Showcase, which is a college showcase in Portland for the Navy teams. And that's the first weekend in December, and we kind of do that right after tryouts. And then we have Pac Northwest up in Seattle. The other tournament we're thinking of doing either instead of Pac Northwest, or if a team is ambitious enough and wants to do both, there's the Mayor's Cup in Las Vegas, which is a great tournament. Teams from all over the country come to that one, and so do college coaches as well. It's a great location to draw the interest of coaches to do their recruiting because they get a Vegas vacation out of it. Costs for these tournaments, the local ones that we're just driving to are usually $100-$150. The Seattle ones where we driving distance, are usually around $550 to kind of go with spend all the money for the expenses for hotels and paying for chaperones and making sure that we have enough food and chaperones and things for all the kids to get there safely. The flying tournaments, if it's Vegas or somewhere else that we want to go, those are usually $800 or plus, just because we're adding expenses of plane tickets and more expenses for chaperones and stuff as well. But that's sort of our plan for next year, and the plan for the group. So I'll open it up here. We got 10 minutes left until the recruiting meeting, and Zoom kicks us off of this one. So if anybody has anything they'd like to share, please speak up.
Chris, I had a question, if that's okay.
Of course.
I'm interested. I mean, you talk a lot about taking parent feedback in terms of coaching decisions. I'm interested in what the club does to evaluate, because honestly, I would not listen to me when it comes to soccer. And so yeah, I mean, what does the club do to evaluate how coaches are doing outside of talking to parents?
We look at on the field stuff. The trainings we observe. You know, the leadership gets together with Blake. I talk with Blake, you know, not daily, but weekly, if not, you know, multiple times, and just talking about how teams are doing, what the overall feel is. You know, like you said, you know, there are, you know, parents they have things, but you know, we're in the positions we're in for a reason. We're kind of the experts in the field here, and but we also want to, and we know we have to, we can't dismiss parent feedback. We gotta kind of read the room as far as what that goes. But as far as coach evaluation goes, it's mostly what we see is from myself or Blake, what we see out on the field at trainings, our observations that way, what we see at the games as well, and what we observe as well through like the parent communication stuff, how coaches are communicating with parents and those sort of things, all kind of play into how we evaluate the coaches.
Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Chris, I think Lee had a question in the chat, and then Laura has her hand up. I don't know if you see that stuff.
Yeah, go ahead and speak up. I can look at the chat one here. Coaching changes as far as the leadership roles. Go ahead. Someone has a question. Go ahead. Just speak up.
Can you guys hear me right now?
Yep.
Okay. I unmuted myself, but I haven't figured out the camera thing because I just put Zoom on my phone like 10 minutes ago. So apologies.
No.
This is Laura Passage. I'm Brady's mom. And I just wanted to throw this out there while I had a second before I drive my other kid home from the Y from practice. We're in the parking lot right now. It surprised me, I guess, just now when you started talking about coaching changes. Sounds like, as what you said, that you've had feedback on both sides of the coin. I guess I wanted to go ahead and throw my 2 cents in there. We are new here at OVF this year. We switched from CFC. We honestly, specifically came to the club after going to tryouts back in May or whenever that was because of the coaching staff. I have a college coaching background. I went with Brady to a lot of different tryouts. This was the one place where I could see that the coaches knew what they were doing as they ran the tryout. And that sounds kind of silly and basic to say, oh, they knew how to run a tryout. But I'm telling you, we went up to clubs in Portland to CFC. We came here. I, with my background, felt the most comfortable and the happiest with what we saw here. And I guess what I just wanted to throw out there real quick, and this is obviously just one person's opinion, so obviously, you know, we're all taking it with a grain of salt, but I've seen a lot of development in areas that don't always get looked at throughout the year with this team. We've dropped a bunch of games, 1 and 2 goal games, where, you know, we play real close in the first half and give up a silly goal or 2 in the second. But I I asked Brady a lot of questions all the time about what they're working on. And sometimes I'm watching practice. And to me, this is again just one person's opinion. I've seen them working on some pretty high level defensive stuff, getting this group to defend well as a team. And I've been able to see it coming together on the field in the past few weeks, especially. And I feel like I just wanted one of the parent viewpoints that gets thrown out there for you to hear is I feel strongly that we sacrificed some games during the regular season to be able to get the kids to this point where now they're playing really well. And I think this past couple weekends results reflect that. And I don't know. I don't want this to be based just on our league results, because I feel like it went better than we looked at.
Oh, 100% agree. Like I tried to mention during that of, the results there, but we're clearly competitive, right? And, when you're playing against the top 10 teams in the state every year, which this 09 team is doing, results are tough to come by because we are playing against the best of the best all the time. And we've never not been competitive, right? And so that's more what I look at as just the results on the paper type of a thing. Because if you're competitive, it like you said, a goal can a fluke goal, a missed offsides call from a referee can change the results, like that. But the competitiveness, how the game feels throughout the game is much more important.
So yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I don't know what you guys have been told or what sort of feedback you're getting, but I wanted to at least know that somebody put out there that I think that they've done a fantastic job preparing these kids to peak right now. And I'm hoping that I'm right and crossing my fingers that they then go out and perform the way it looks like they're getting ready to. But I don't want the early season games that probably, I joke and I say we sacrificed those games to learn to play better soccer, but that I feel strongly that we've got a good duo in place at the top of this team right now. So that's just one person's opinion, and I will, mute myself again and let other people chime in.
No, I agree. And I think Hans and Arsh have done a great job this year. I fully support Hans. He's a great coach. I want to say it's probably his 5th year with this team. I think it's his 5th, maybe 4th, but I think it's 5th. So he's had a lot of time with them and just done a great job with them. Because like I said, they've been playing in Premier Gold for a while now and just constantly competing against the top teams in the state. And so that's a real great accomplishment. And a good kind of pat on the back from Hans because it's been impressive. And definitely one of the best teams that we've had in the club for the last few years. So I've been really excited and really, really enthusiastic to watch them play and watch them train. All right, well, it is 7:29. So for those that are wanting to head over to the college recruiting meeting, I would definitely highly support that. I want to thank you guys for participating. Like I said, we value this feedback. If you guys have anything else you want to share, please feel free to give me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, thank you guys. We'll see you out there.
Thanks, Chris.